I'm taking that bag back to the cliff where we found it.
No, man, I gotta fix this mess.
Do you have a god complex, or do you see yourself as a control freak? I mean, in some sense, what I'm asking is, do you have a taste for control and power? You see, a god complex is a pattern in which an individual believes that they have great power, influence, and are superior to others. On some level, I think this is true for a lot of people. When control over your own life isn't good enough, people like to get crafty. For example, if you ever play games like Sims, Terraria, or Minecraft, the god complex side of your brain was definitely activated a little bit. Trust me, I've seen the horror stories. Even if you had an ant farm. Now, of course, these are all small scale, but what if we swap the ants with your friends? The Adventure Time episode, All the Little People, started off with Finn and Jake on a mountain having a really deep conversation about relationships.
If you feel something, you feel something. It's not about personality matrixels and charts. It's all about the bumps in your heart.
If you haven't noticed yet, Magic Man is clearly spying on Finn and Jake for whatever reason. Finn then proceeds to ask about a potential relationship between Ice King and BMO, and if it's possible. Jake, on the other hand, responded with this.
Oh, I see. You're being weird.
It's not that weird, come on.
I think it's very weird. While Finn and Jake weren't paying attention to their surroundings, Magic Man pulls out a bag and starts cursing it with magical elements. He then decides to place it in Finn's back pocket. Not sure why he did this, but probably for his sick enjoyment. While walking back to the treehouse, Jake notices the bag that Magic Man put on Finn.
Hey, what's that in your pants?
What? Not again?
It seems to be a bunch of little alive people or their friends in the land of Ooh. While Jake is creeped out, Finn on the other hand is more intrigued with this weird situation.
Maybe we shouldn't mess with them.
No, man, look. That's you.
When they get home, Finn decides to drop them all off and decide to play with them just to see what they can do.
What are they talking about?
Jake and Finn just staring at these little people always reminds me of how observant we are. Quick question, just raise your hand if you ever went to a zoo. I don't know about you, but I always feel bad just watching animals rot away in man-made cells. Like initially, scientists wanted to research animal behavior and anatomy, and that's why we founded zoos. But once they became popular and profitable, it kind of shifted more away from research to more of just entertainment. And right now, that's only what Finn and Jake see. Entertainment.
They've got good chemistry. Who'd have guessed?
Chemistry.
When Finn's eyes lit up like this, I knew this episode was going to take a dark turn. Later that night, Finn waits until Jake goes to sleep so he can sneak and play with the magical little people. I like how early on we can tell that Finn's curiosity is coming from a bad place, and this is because he's constantly checking to see if Jake is awake because he knows he's going to be judged for his weird behavior. Here we see Finn get his first taste of what it means to meddle in someone's lives, even if he perceives them as not real. You ever had a friend who tried to matchmake you with someone they knew? It could have been for a relationship or even a friendship. Some people take pride in trying to pair two people together a lot, more than they actually should be. You think about it, this is a naturally controlling nature, even if it seems to come off as good intent. I mean, people like the idea of so much of it that we have game shows and reality TV all based on this. The funny thing about these shows is that majority of these relationships never last, with a few outliers. You can tell at this point Finn is actually really obsessed because he spent the whole entire night playing with the little people. Things get a little weirder when Jake realized Finn was meddling in their relationship, even if it is just a little version of him.
Come on, they're not real. They're like toys.
What makes this even more gross is that Finn was actually wrong about that statement. They're not toys, they're actually alive. The only difference is that these two universes are separate.
Weird, but cool. Right, Jake?
I don't like where you're going with this. It ain't wholesome. I'm going to go to ladies for a few days. Clear my head.
I always thought this part was a little funny and ironic because I remember Jake saying something like this in season 2.
People are so terrified, scared of their own shadows.
We could rule them like gods. Angry gods.
You see Finn's little smug expression right here? This is the face of I know this is messed up, but I'm too far in and I have to see where it's going.
What?
You see, at this point, this is very personal for Finn. It's the reason why he grabbed Flame Princess and Princess Bubblegum. These are both two characters that he has some type of relationship with or feelings for, and now he's trying to see if he can replicate those feelings with the little person.
4 months later.
No, I mean actually seriously, Finn spent about 16 weeks still meddling with these little people. I mean, it got so bad that when Jake walked in, the treehouse was a literal mess. It looked like Finn hasn't moved a single inch since.
What's little Finn doing?
He's thinking.
You look sad.
You see, Finn got a sick, twisted sense of power that he had over these beings that he can govern and manipulate. I think people forget how easy it is to become power hungry, even if you don't live in a place with kings or queens. For example, we have surgeons who literally have thousands of lives on their hands. You have lawyers, cops, and judges who hold power to tons of people's freedoms. And oh yeah, you can't forget about the influencers that let clout get to their head. If you ever want to know how easy it is for people to shift to power-hungry little dictators, take a look at the Stanford prison experiment. In 1971, a psychologist named Philip Zimbardo at Stanford University conducted an experiment involving college students assigned to roles of prisoners and guards. The experiment started with participants being randomly assigned to roles of guards and prisoners. The guards were given uniforms, batons, and instructions to maintain order, but they were not given specific guidelines on how to do so. It only took 2 days to show abusive behavior from the guards that gained power. This was because the prisoners decided to rebel a little bit and refuse to follow orders. In response, the guards used psychological tactics to break prisoners' solidarity. This included pinning them against each other and then also not allowing them to eat. The guards continued to escalate their abuse using tactics such as sleep deprivation, solitary confinement, and verbal humiliation. The experiment originally was planned for 2 weeks, but it was cut short just for 6 days due to the extreme emotional distress.
This is messed up, dude. You crossed the line from weird curiosity into some dark, messed up stuff.
I know!
That statement made me think about what's the actual difference between weird curiosity and dark messed up stuff. And I think in a lot of cases, there is no actual difference if you can justify it in the end. Edward Jenner's early work on smallpox vaccination involved experimenting with cowpox on human subjects, including children. Well, the benefit from this, it laid the foundation for the development of the vaccine. The development of the birth control pill involved early clinical trials on ladies who were not fully informed on the risk or purpose of the research. I guess the overall benefit is giving women greater control over their fertility and contributing to gender equality. A lot of scientific's greatest discoveries all stem from something that seemed unethical when we look at it in the future. Jake at this point is really tired of Finn's actions and now he feels like he has to step in.
Man, just let them do their own biz, man.
Honestly, this is the best advice Jake could give to Finn, and it also kind of reminds me of what he was saying earlier in the episode.
If you feel something, you feel something. It's not about personality matrixels and charts. It's all about the bumps in your heart.
You see, people sometimes have a hard way of trying to control things that shouldn't be controlled or even forced, starting with love. I think it's better to let things develop naturally and allowing feelings to be true and genuine. Facial and beauty features along with public perception is also a big one. With plastic surgery and cosmetics being very big now, studies have shown 47% of people regret these life-altering decisions. Another big thing I see in men is height and hair. You now have guys spending fortunes on hair transplants and leg lengthening surgeries. I'm not saying not to do what makes you happy, but what I am saying is that we spend a lot more time focusing on things that we can't control rather than on things that we can, like exercising and eating healthy.
I gotta step in!
Well, how would you do that?
You remember when I told you Finn was wrong about the little people not being real? They were just on 2 different universes. They then get the idea to shake little Finn so they can see if they can match the frequency in his universe. After he established contact, he then lets little Finn know that he's the reason all the weird things are happening to him. Finn then proceeds to apologize to all the little people for his actions and meddling into their lives. Surprisingly, this did work and everybody went back to normal, and they even had a little dance party at the end. The big punchline at the end that BMO and Ice King actually got together to dance. In the beginning, Jake thought this idea was crazy, but it initially brings back the message of things happening on its own naturally. I want to say the most important things that Finn learned from this were the consequences of playing God. Relationships are complex and it's not as easy as just sticking 2 people together and making the mix. If you made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching and also thank you all for 3,000 subscribers. It really means a lot to me. Remember, you can only control so much. Thank you for watching Media Munchies and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. Peace.